Welcome to Have History Will Travel. I am your host, the Wilder Historian, and today I will be tackling the movie Gettysburg's best scenes for historical accuracy and points of interest from a historical perspective. I will have a worst scene video coming out in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that one. As always, if you want to support the channel, please subscribe, and you can also join the Patreon page and vote on which video you would like to see me do next. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it.
120 men from the old 2nd Maine, which has been disbanded. Well, the point is, sir, these Maine fellas, they won't fight no more. And nobody can send them home, and nobody knows what to do with them. Till they thought of us, being as we are the only other Maine regiment in the 5th Corps. So they've been assigned to us.
Although this happened at various points during the war, we see the combining of units near the end, especially on the Confederate side. Regiments, in theory, are supposed to contain 1,000 men, or 10 companies of 100 troops. However, I have ran across regiments that contain 50 to 100 men after campaigns, and that is why they combined units.
20th Maine! Forward! March!
I know this seems simple, but I absolutely love this scene from a historical perspective. The 20th Maine is moving out, and they are marching in column of fours, which was the way armies moved, and seeing it on a large scale in a mainstream movie always makes me happy to see.
Wish I could see him again. I haven't seen him since before the war. Never thought it would last this long.
You neither, Lope.
I sure would like to talk to old Hancock again.
This scene and many others within the film goes to illustrate that many of these men knew one another. When the war began, there was roughly 16,000 men in the United States Army, and the men who belonged to it came into contact with one another, whether it was on the frontier, the Mexican-American War, the Seminole Wars, or garrison duty at the many coastal forts. These men were friends, kin, and in many respects brothers. Armistead's statement about Hancock exemplifies this fact.
When you attack, you must hold nothing back. You must commit yourself totally. We are adrift here in a sea of blood, and I want it to end. I want this to be the final battle.
In this clip, Lee says he wants the war to end. It may seem like a throwaway line, but what he is referring to is a battle of annihilation, or a battle that will completely destroy the enemy and therefore end the war. From the outset of the war, most of the Army commanders at one point or another had the hope to end the war with one decisive battle. Lee says it in this scene. Many historians have pointed out that that simply was not possible during this war. Even after the Battle of Franklin, when the Army of Tennessee was virtually destroyed, it eventually reformed. One battle was not going to win this war. It would be a series of campaigns that would bring the war to an end. So I love that the scriptwriters included that language into the movie.
We must move around to the right, sir, and take them from the rear.
Sam, the commanding general will not allow a flanking movement around those hills. I argued it yesterday. I argued it all morning. Hell, I've been arguing against any attack at all. I can't call this one off. You know it.
Let me move up the big round hill to the south. There's nobody on that. Now, if I could get a battery up there,
There ain't enough time.
General, I do this under protest.
Sam, you are the best I got. Now, sir, if you are ready, why don't you take that hill?
If you've checked out my Hood Explains Gettysburg video and a few other eyewitness accounts I have on my channel, you will see that Hood did exactly this, but on a much larger scale. Hood asked Longstreet for different orders multiple times, but I am happy to see this conversation highlighted in the film, and because it would have been probably monotonous for the general audience to see Hood continually requesting a different order.
Boys, to get good cover, pile the rocks high. I'll take the time and fire carefully. Just go down and come back.
Right. But, Colonel, you gotta keep an eye on them, Colonel. Some of them, they load and load. They never fire. They just keep right on loading. Some of them come home with 7, 8 bullets rammed up in the barrel. Never fired a shot. Sorry.
This is another comment that helps elaborate on what battle was actually like. If you watch my video on debunking a Civil War myth that the weaponry outpaced the tactics, I cover it a little bit more in depth. But suffice it to say, in the aftermath of battles, hundreds and thousands of weapons would be found with multiple rounds rammed down the barrel. This resulted from things like soldiers not actually wanting to fire and possibly kill someone, or the fact that battles are loud. Soldiers commented that some battles were so loud they could not hear the commands, so many rifles would misfire, but they would not hear or see that it didn't go off because of the smoke and the roar of battle. So they simply loaded again, not knowing that it never initially fired.
General, I'm very glad to see you well.
Well, I just come by for my orders, sir.
It would appear General Stuart has returned.
Prodigal son.
This is a subtle thing, and I'm not sure if the director knew what he was doing, but as Stuart is riding into headquarters, the band is playing Rock of Ages, which was Stuart's favorite hymn.
What are you thinking, General?
Well, sir, Pickett's division is from my corps, but the other two units are of A.P. Hill's corps. Shouldn't General Hill lead the attack, sir?
This is another great, insightful scene in the movie. From many accounts, Longstreet was concerned about the attack, and the reality is that Longstreet tried to get someone else to order the attack or call it off. He did not want the attack to take place.
You say you're a school teacher.
Oh, well, it seems like a long time ago.
Sometimes I'm not sure how long I've been in this war. 3 years or 3 lifetimes. What do you teach up in Maine?
Rhetoric, sir. Rhetoric and natural and revealed religion. Bowdoin College, sir.
This discussion between General Hancock and Colonel Chamberlain demonstrates the coming together of the citizen soldier army that the Civil War created. Although there were career military men within the ranks, the vast majority of men came from all kinds of occupations. As Chamberlain exemplifies, teachers joined the ranks. At Gettysburg, the 151st Pennsylvania Infantry was called the School Teachers Regiment because of at least 60 school teachers found in the regiment. The Civil War armies depended on the citizen soldiers, and this scene displays that. And can I just mention the terrific job that the gentlemen who portrayed Hancock and Chamberlain did in this film? They were wonderfully cast.
I thought the war would be over in a month. It's 3 years, and how many more? Who could have dreamed it could go on for so long? What would you do, Chamberlain? What do the books tell you to do?
Again, this conversation brings up a point everyone has probably heard, but it bears mention. At the outset of the war, so many people thought the war would end very quickly, and this also goes back to the earlier clip with Lee in a battle of annihilation. They expected one battle to end it all. When one studies the Civil War, we hear about the huge artillery barrage, and it instantly makes you want to see it because it was the largest use of field artillery during the Civil War. Other than going to a reenactment of Gettysburg, this is the only way to see well over 100 cannons fire in succession. Last but not least, the image of Pickett's charge. Seeing thousands of men marching in line of battle is an incredible sight. In this clip, you can see the battle line bulge and sway, gaps form because of the terrain, and units lose contact with one another. Additionally, seeing the blue Union troops stacked up nearly on top of one another behind the stone wall gives you a good feel for what it would have been like and how desperate of an attack it was on the Confederates' part. Thank you so much for watching this. If you'd like to see me do more, please let me know in the comments below. I know I left out the actual battle scenes themselves, but have no fear. I will put them into a video. It's just that YouTube would limit my monetization on the video with battle scenes. so I'll make a video containing the best and worst battle scenes in Gettysburg. Stay tuned for when I do the worst scenes in Gettysburg very soon. Thank you again, and have a great day.